I moved to Santa Fe about 40 years ago and came out here from New York City. And from then, really my art career began to develop. Coming to Santa Fe made a difference because it was such a beautiful market and so many artists here. And so I was able to immerse myself into that scene and grow with it over the years. I started off with reasonably abstract landscapes and things like that with multicolor violet trees and things like that. And then that evolved into a complete abstraction. Now I work in acrylic. I had worked in oils until about 3 years ago. And it took me a little time to feel comfortable in this medium. Jane and I got together, and under the theme from Yeats of the Second Coming and the Center Cannot Hold, Jane inspired me to look at that poem and that concept and think about that in some of my work that was part of the show. The show involved all acrylic paintings except one, a small piece that was an oil painting. I've not done a two-person show before. I've had solo shows and group shows, so to speak, but not with another person specifically, and with somewhat of a theme. But this time, I really was writing poems for everything I did. And it took a whole different process that ended up, for me, becoming unified. So the painting influencing the poetry influencing the painting, and it moving back and forth on its own. I think that paintings speak, and so color resonates and people feel it. You feel color. So if you're a painter, people are going to feel your palette. With our paintings, my opinion is that you have to stop and spend time looking, or you're not going to feel what's there necessarily. I think it's really important to have poetry and visual art presented side by side and interact. I think it's a whole different visual and emotional experience. It certainly has been for me. Partly because the opening had been canceled 2 weeks in a row before the date we had it, in addition to the 2 years. When the time came, we didn't have the rush of people we might normally have expected. And in those types of openings, you have time to say hello and hey, thanks, and et cetera, et cetera. But we didn't have that. There was a steady flow of people, but there was room to talk with everyone each time. And what I found was, for me, the opportunity to really get in and answer questions about the poems or the work or both. As I heard myself speaking, I realized that over that 2 years, I had developed a different sense of my professionals, almost as though I'd finally learned how to paint and in the same time realized I could do it. It was one of those types of experiences that I had. And I think we have those going along, but this time, because of my age, it had more meaning for me. And it gave me a sense of completion, that time and space, they all sort of came together into that final show that we eventually had. And I felt really good about it.